Ping here, checking in live, man. RespectMyRegion.com. Back on another episode of the RMR Podcast. Today is officially the 119th episode, and our journey is actually brought to you guys by two brands today. We've got Seedless Media, which is the RMR Podcast Network. They're a full-service marketing agency that comes highly recommended with over 150 unique clients, 200 retail and brand locations or operators working underneath their umbrella. It is the full suite, folks. And the other sponsor today is actually the guest of the episode. We have Hudson Botanical Processing, also known as Nimbus Cannabis Co. We have their CEO here today. Brian, how you living today, brother? Good morning.
Good, man. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Man, it's been quite a fall and summer for us as we have been on the North American Weed Tour. We really appreciate you supporting us and rocking with us during Boston Cannabis Week for our campaign. We were out there in about the second week of September for a full 7 days, Brian. We visited you guys and we toured your facility for the second time. We didn't get to see anything other than babies in the grow because you guys were building out your custom dry room and grow some of the grow facility there. But man, was it great to see your team and hang out and watch them making fire fucking products, man. Like we were just talking offline, Brian. That blue piff, baby. Like I've been telling people all about that.
Special.
Oh my gosh. Now, I want to rewind it back though, because obviously you and I know each other, but this is our first time doing an official podcast like this together, right? And so I want to bring it back, right? This is the North American Weed Tour. We want to help people discover quality brands. And I know you know this, and you know I know this, but you guys are a quality brand. And so if we could, let's share a little bit of information to the people about who you are, what you guys do, where you're located, and really ultimately what you think makes you guys special, if you could.
Yeah, of course. So, I guess my story or history really is I've only been in cannabis my entire professional career, which is kind of cool. So I went to CU Boulder. I worked in the industry out there, had a really great, position, learned a lot in, the growing Colorado market at the time where it was, Colorado was booming. And I learned a lot and decided I wanted to move back home to Massachusetts, where I'm from, to start my own cannabis company, to take what I learned and try to do it better and refine stuff that we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And, I worked for an edible company out there. And I always really was more into flower and concentrates personally. So that's kind of more where I wanted to focus up on. And it's basically exactly what we did. We're really fortunate. Like, I won't sugarcoat it for 1 second. Like, the building that we operate in, my grandfather built in 1972. So having the real estate within the family was super helpful to get this thing started. As everybody knows, cannabis takes a long time to get open.
Not one of those landlords breathing down your shoulder and locking doors on you and
exactly
no funny business.
Yeah, so that was really a huge win and really fortunate for us. It allowed us, I think, to get open really quickly in the grand scheme of things. Still took 20 months from like when we submitted our application to producing product back in 2020, but that was still a lot faster than many people in Mass. So that gave us a great advantage. We started with like a really shoestring budget. We were just washing ethanol, bucket tech style in, 5-gallon steel buckets and filtering it. We'd be lucky to do and I was running it myself, running the oil, doing the distillation. We launched with Chiba Chews. We had, our guy running the kitchen, and it was just like 4 of us doing a little bit of everything. And I'd be lucky to run like 50 pounds a month back then. And we got in early, so we were able to take advantage of the glory days, you could say, and just invested every dollar back into improving our quality in extraction, eventually investing in a killer BHO program, and then eventually investing in the small cultivation that we have. And we're completely a family run organization. It's myself, my brother's our CFO. My mom's heavily involved in the business.
Your mom was chatting with my guy John a little bit. He was
Yeah,
mentioning. He said we got her involved in the story a little.
in the story, I think it'll be cool. So,
Let's go.
working with family, some people say it's like awful, but for us, it's great. So I think it allows us to be unique, to like do cool stuff, because we're not like having crazy investors breathing down our neck all the time, like saying, "Where's my money? Where's my money?" We're just focused on putting out the best product for the people.
Yeah. Your business model, your guys' structure, the core foundations allow you guys to make, quality driven, data driven decisions versus having to cut corners because the numbers potentially aren't there.
Exactly. And yeah, man, so we've just like pretty much invested everything we had back in to continue to invest in quality and invest and be able to do more in a little more capacity. And then, I think the grow is a little more unique, in the processing lab. Like, what's cool with the program we have, because we can kind of turn the dial in either direction to like go slow and make some really high quality stuff, or turn the dial up and go really fast and push through a lot of weight. And
Right.
that's where we drive like a lot of our businesses, through manufacturing and processing.
Yeah, you guys crush it. Obviously I had I had the dabs right here, right? This is an example of just what I would describe that some of that efficient manufacturing capabilities that you guys have. You guys have the custom machine to, I would call it, I don't think shrink wrap is the right word, but for my low level education here, you guys have the ability to just package pretty effectively with these style bags. It seals it, it's airtight. My favorite thing, if you guys watch the reviews that I did, I love your guys' packaging, right? Like, I love the little icons and the artwork. I love the Massachusetts vibe. That iconography for me as a little language that just screams Massachusetts, Massachusetts, Massachusetts.
Yeah. I got to give a shout out to our guy, Will Houghton. He's the artist behind it all. He's extremely talented. We're super lucky to have him on the team, and he crushes the art, man. And like, that's part of our brand, is we want to incorporate art, and we want it to be fun. Like, this is a recreational brand, a recreational product. I'm super thrilled if someone can use our product and they find medicinal benefit. Like, I love hearing those, when we hear those testimonials come through, that it helps somebody get through something, or, through some health issue that helped them. That's fantastic. But that's not what we set out to build this brand around. We set out to build this brand about having a good time with your friends, enjoying your time, and like elevating your life from a recreational standpoint. Is really
not to say that people that have medical conditions or situations or have those scenarios where it calls for it, the product still applies to your situation.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
But when we talk about making a brand, it's like, yeah, this was the route, right?
Exactly. It wasn't our focus to be like solely on medical. It wasn't solely on like, what are the benefits to like help your any medicinal issue or product, or increase your standard of health. It was focused on increasing your standard of life and enjoying life, and just more on a recreational fun perspective. And that's kind of where we tailored the brand. That's where like the fun branding came in, the artwork came in. We want to like speak to people that are just trying to enjoy cannabis and have fun doing it. So like, that's kind of where it started. And and I think it's also allowed us to, with the grow, because it's a little bit smaller and it's not a huge piece of our business. Like, all we really focus on in the grow is just quality, unique flavors, unique terps, running. If something's got to go for 80 days, we'll let it go for 80 days. If it's got to come down at 60 days, it's got to come down at 60 days. If it's got to come, the plant's going to tell us when to take it. We're not on a crazy schedule. And where it allows us to grow strains that maybe don't like yield the best, but have unique flavors that like you're not going to find anywhere. Like the Blue Piff, like a big facility would probably have a good degree of difficulty growing that strain. Like
you guys grow a bunch of. I couldn't help but notice on your guys' packaging has the terpenes listed. I couldn't help but notice that, like, for you guys, I didn't get a single product that was low in terpenes. Not any flower, not any dabs, not any vapes. Everything was above 3%. The vapes were all above 5%. The dabs were also all above 5%. The flower was also above 3%. It's all crazy terpene. So
yeah, that's really what we focus on. Like, we want to. It's like a flavor factory. Really, is kind of like our focus more than anything. And we'll grow strains that are a little bit more difficult to grow. That maybe like you got to put a little more tender and care into, like into pruning them, and training them to stand upright. Like the blue piff, like she really likes to fall. So like you got to put more effort into like really trellising it and getting it to stand up straight. A big facility, if you were running hundreds of those plants, would probably be a nightmare for them. But for us, the little bit of extra effort is no big deal to us. And we enjoy
your
that.
guys' size of your guys' cultivation relative to your guys' overall scale of the company, you can really only do so much, and it doesn't really allow you to expand beyond what you can do great in that sense already.
Yeah, exactly. So our focus is quality there more than anything, and just finding unique flavors, unique strains. And Keith, our head cultivator, does an amazing job at selecting genetics. And for the most part, pretty much everything we run is grown from seed selected by him. And then we have a couple strains that he's bred himself that we've brought in, that he bred and hunted, which is super cool and something we want to continue to build on.
Yeah.
And then another cool one that we've been working on that we're going to be launching here soon in the next couple months is a legacy line with a lot of the old school 90s strains, like, Bubba Kush, Super Silver Haze, Strawberry.
Are you guys growing that, or are you just going to process it?
No, we're going to grow it. And
nice.
The goal is to sell it mostly as flower. And those he got cuts from, very original, reputable sources that have been holding on to some of these for a long, long time. Like, don't quote me on this, but I think the Bubba Kush, it's the cut that won the 1998 High Times Cup out in Amsterdam. It's that original cut. So it's stuff like that. We're going to be putting a big push into like doing some video series with Keith explaining the history of these strains, like where he got them, where he came from, his story of finding them. Because I think there's a lot of cool like stories that sometimes don't get out of like how the grower got connected to the breeder or got connected to the guy who had the cut, and then what's the story about the cut. And there's sometimes just a lot of these like folklore type legends of some of these strains that are super cool and fascinating to hear the people that know what they're talking about talk about it. So we're going to be trying to highlight that over the next couple of months.
Man. That's the culture, man. That's the culture right there. The breeders, geneticists, these farmers, my guy Keith. Remind me the homie's name that's in there doing all the crazy Breaking Bad science in your lab.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah, my guy. So if we got Keith with the fire and the flower, rocking the custom canitrol rooms and all this good stuff now, measuring dew point and water activity and all this craziness. Big shout out to the fam with that. And then we got my guy Jack, right? We got Jack, and then the homie running the vape jet. What's his name?
Yep,
again?
yeah, Will running the vape jet. We got
man, Jack and it's not Jack and Jill, it's my guys Jack and Will. You feel me? Those two in there pumping out fire. I gotta be real with y'all, man. I hit this blue piff vape, this fucking live resin vape, you guys. It was so fire. I went to Ohio. I see the Canitrol people, and I'm so excited because I had just met, re-met Keith, saw the grow, saw the rooms, it was like, wow, this is so dope. I'm so excited. This is great. I got to talk to y'all. We got to chat. Bro, it took me 4 tries to get my intro correct for this damn interview. And it was because I made a moment. I took a moment, was like, look, you're my first interview of the day. I got to hit this vape. I ripped the blue piff, blew it out, big deal. Everyone's like, oh, wow, that smells crazy. What is that? I'm like, it's the blue piff. Massachusetts got that fire. My guy Brian, Nimbus, whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-wop. 4 fucking tries. That shit gave me a head change. I was cooked, bro. I was cooked. It was, and at that point, I had to change my habit. I couldn't do that. I could not hit that vape before those interviews. I had to hit it when I was trying to just take a moment to myself and like, and I'll tell you what, I ripped that blue pip vape all the way down until the end. I damn near was ripping the metal off the damn vape cartridge. You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to drip every drop in my mouth. It was so fire, man. That shit was crazy.
No, I think too, like there's something to say about that. Like, like that's a real live resin vape. And, I think off the top of my head, it's around 75% THC. I think that, that one's crazy terpy. I think all the numbers.
That one was at 18%.
Yeah, 18%. That's what the lab says. And like realistically, what we put in there was a little bit more. They can't see everything. So like, it just goes to show that like THC isn't what necessarily gets you stoned. It's the whole package. And like, you know, you probably, if you took that same rip out of just your normal disty botanical terp, like you would have been fine rocking and rolling, got it done first try. I think it just goes to show that like full spectrum entourage effect like is real.
Yeah.
And it's something that we got to pay attention to. It's something as an industry that we got to get out to the people that, you know, it's not just about that THC number. There's a lot more to this plant that is amazing, that really plays to the effects that we all seek and want. And it's like super important. And I think that's one thing we could get out of this is like Joey smoked a 75% pen that got him so fucked up that he couldn't even speak straight. But he got, you know, I guarantee you he smoked
Bro,
that.
Right vape, right strain, wrong time. It was amazing. And like I said, bro, I had that with me. It was to the point where I was afraid to travel with that one vape because it was so stinky, right? And it's like these are problems when you think like, oh, I want discretion. Oh, I want this. Like, no, some of the weed was so good. Like, bro, here in California, there's like, I was just ripping a vape last night. It's called Cold Fire. They do these cured resin carts here, right? And they collab with the best brands here. I'm not lying when I tell you that I hit one last night that this girl was so hyped about. And all I thought to myself was, bro, if I pulled out that blue piff right now, she'd be so stupid. She'd go crazy. Like, it was phenomenal, this experience, folks. I will go ahead and say this now. It's gonna be guaranteed a top fiver in the country, that particular vape. I want to go ahead and transition to the part where I also give you flowers for your flowers, because the blue piff in flower form, I want to say it was either 3.99% on the terps or 4.99% on the terps. I'm not quite sure, but
it has done over 4. I think 4.2 is the best it's ever done.
it was a 3 point. Yeah, it must have been a 3.9er.
Yeah,
I had never seen flower. I had never seen flower with that high of a terpene score before. It was so high to the point where at first I fucking doubted it, and I wanted to be like, man, shut the fuck up. Like, Brian, where's your testing lab at? Let me hit them up. Let me see what's going on. And like, let me hit my guy who, you know, prides himself on accurate testing and see what he says about them cats. Like, at first I doubted it, but then I smelled the bag and I could smell it through the seal. And then I ripped it open and it was fucking explosive. And I used the word fucking and explosive, not one or the other, both. Because no matter what I put it in, it just smelled right through the jar, smelled through the bag. And then the review again, it was definitely a super high score. I want to say I gave it up there in like a 9.7 to a 9.9 on the YouTube score. And then I rolled up some joints and brought it to people. They were all just like, what the fuck are we smoking? This blue piff, folks, has this beta-ocimene. It's like the best haze you've ever smoked with just the tropical fruitiness of the Skittles, right? And then it has this chemi diesel on the end that gives it this gassiness almost.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
a cool cross because it's like it's the original piff, so it's the Cuban black that was brought up, you know, to the New York City in the 90s, and then it was crossed with the Blue Dream, so that's where you get that little bit of like fruitiness and sweetness from.
Ooh.
And then the Cuban black obviously is a old school, you know, New York haze. And
that's all it is. It's just a Blue Dream and a Cuban black.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. I can only. No wonder people in New York are so, sprung off the haze and the piff still. Because that shit, if I was smoking that every day and dabbing that every day, I would be creative as shit. I would be fucking crossing people up, dunking on them. I'd have the best ideas all the time. I'd be fucking up all my intros on my interviews. Like,
yeah, but I think, you know, that was one that, like, you know, Keith popped, you know, 100 seeds and found that one. And I think that just goes to show, like, you know, his ability and how he's just really good. He's just really, really good at selecting flavors. It's what he's really, really good at. And
Nimbus coming with the flavors, man. What did you say? Nimbus and the Flavor Factory, baby. Come on, man. I need that. I loved it. Now, I want to chat a little bit about some of these other strains and products that I tried too. I had the white chocolate chip from you guys. Normally, not something that I would be like super hyped on. was a strain that I was excited to come back to be
Nice.
honest with you. It was surprising, not from a quality. After trying the piff and the other dabs and seeing the scores and the terpenes, I gotta say this, bro. Your guys' terpene scores, the test results, the product, the brand. There's only one thing I didn't like about it, and you already knew what it was. It's because you don't label the jars. That was it.
Yeah, we're working on that. That is something we're
That
working
was
on.
literally it, bro. Like I'm over here struggling, like, you know. And I told you this the last time I seen you. I was like, yo, I got one dab left, but I don't know if I want to review it. It's from almost like a year ago, right? I said that to you, and you were like, nah, bro, do it. Like, I guarantee you that shit's still fire. And I was like, hold up, man. This is the CEO telling me this. This ain't Jack. This ain't Jack pulling my thumb, like, the extractor, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah.
This ain't the grower saying, oh, I got the biggest fish. You gotta try it. This is the boss, right? And I'm over here like, all right. So I've been holding on to this. You saw me open it, take the first dab. This was manufactured in November of November 14, 2023. The terps on this, folks, 6.22. It's still good. It's been in a fridge. It was fresh. We're talking delta limonene 1.63, beta myrcene 1.47, that osamine we were talking about at 1.05. I mean, brother, you guys are growing fire hazes, fire flavors, sativas, fruity this, that piff. Like, what else do you have coming down the pipeline, bro? I know you said you're bringing back some of the old school stuff, but tell me you're not going to get rid of all this crazy hazes and all the.
No, that's a focus
All
of
right.
ours and Keith's is that the blue piff like was one that just everybody seemed to really love. It like sells super, super well. Everybody wants to restock it all the time. So we're delving into more and more. So he crossed the blue piff with his sour lemons, which was a strain that he bred. So I think he's
So we're
calling
going
it.
to add on a whole nother like 3 to 5% terpene strain into this ecosystem.
Yeah. So
Holy
he's
cow.
got so he's calling that I think blue lemonade piff is what he decided on for a name.
Oh, the blue
So you
lemon.
do. It's like it smells very similar to the blue piff, but you definitely do get some of that lemon to come through. So that one is like unique. And then he crossed it with also with a Panama red too. So like a
So
red
we're
piff.
gonna get a Panamanian piff.
Yeah, it's kind of what we're thinking. We haven't
Woo!
we haven't smoked it yet. It's not done yet, but like the idea is that we do like a blue piff and a red piff. Blue
Can
pill, red
you
pill,
do me
kind
a
of like
solid and just send me a picture of one of the stocks when you guys do that?
yeah, definitely.
I want to see what that bud structure looks like when
It's
it's
gonna
on.
be funky, but like that's us
Yeah.
trying to bring the old school and new school together. Like that's kind of what we're trying to do is like have old school line, have unique flavors, and then just kind of like newer school stuff, and then trying to kind of bring those errors together and then work
So
into like
we got the blue lemonade piff, we got the Panamanian red piff coming. Where's the green crack piff? Where's the Agent Orange piff? Right, let's just hit
yeah,
them all, man. I need the grape piff.
he's got the green crack too. That is part of the legacy line that we're bringing. So like
Wow.
that's the plan is just keep running through everything and keep at it.
The granddaddy piff, the purple
Granddaddy
piff.
piff.
Ooh, I'm so excited. The future at Nimbus is piffy, folks. This is going to be great.
Yeah, it's great for people that like, I think it really resonates with the East Coast. And it seems like you resonate with the East Coast old school weed. Like those hazes and piffs and sours are just like so iconic to the East Coast.
I don't, it's funny, living here in LA, right? Kush, right? Cushion candy, right? Like Cushion OJ, Cushion candy, right? You got the Bay, you got lots of candy, right? Sac got a bunch of, I'd say, gas. Like Sac smokes gas, little bit of candy, a lot of bit of candy. Washington, pines and blue dreams and blueberries and a little bit of candy gas, right? Oregon, similarly, because Moonbow and Archive. Mass and the East Coast, there is that stereotype of the hazes and the sours. But I also know that there's a good selection of people that like to smoke that, fire candy, fire gas, right? And it's crazy because that blue piff, even smoking this one here, I think about your guys' that beta osamine terp and just the prevalence of that within the Skittles family. Within even this one, this was from a year ago, and this one has 1% beta osmine. There's fucking great flower out there, or at least according to people, that's not even at 1% terps. That has 1% of just that one terpene, let alone that's third place on that list.
Yeah, and we actually see quite a bit of the beta osmine come through. It's like
it loves your facility, whatever you're
it
feeding,
loves our
whatever,
facility, and honestly too, what's weird about the beta osmine that we figured out too, is it does this like weird, it oxidizes different.
Do
Than
you
all the
think it
other ones.
changes the color of the extract a little bit, or even maybe
It does. It definitely like darkens it. Like the beta osmine likes to go red much faster.
Yeah.
So like you'll see it sometimes, like in some of the live resin that it's heavy in. You'll see it a little bit, like in the blue piff cured dabs that we did. I don't think I gave you that one, Joey, but the cured.
No,
It's like
but
it's really really red, and I think
we did dab that though when I saw you in New Jersey. Remember we were in that back
yeah.
VIP area. That's when you pulled out the cured resin dabs, and we were sitting. That shit brought me back to life. That was crazy. As I was cooked, we're sitting there with the beard bros. We're in that back VIP area, whatever. It's kind of dark. I'm like, man, this is a cool view. All of a sudden, you walk in, and then you're like, oh, we're talking about this, and I'm hyping up the piff again, and like you pulled out that cured resin. And we sat there for like an hour or two just rolling up, and I just kept rolling up and taking a dab of that, rolling up, taking a dab of that. Crazy. And that color on it was a little dark.
Yeah, it's red. It's like red.
Yeah.
It's like not dark like brown or none of that. Or
No.
It's red. It's like very red. And I think that has to do with the osmine. That's what we've noticed. Like the strains that are really high in the osmine seem to be more red.
We're taking some dabs over here. I would call that that's a Nimbus. That's a cloud-sized dab. That was a hail-sized dab. That was
there we go.
Let's go. Nimbus raining terps over here. All right, I'm not gonna lie, folks. I got high ripping these dabs. I don't know where we're at in the line of questions. So let's go ahead and circle it back, folks. We got to bring it back. We got to take, I got to do Hudson Bay. I got to do Nimbus, the absolute best justice I can do. Now, your guys' cannabis, your lab, right? I toured it. I remember seeing you guys make distillate, full spec. I saw live resin. There's rosin being made, right? In your eyes, what do you believe that you guys are best at? Like a new dispensary is like, yo, they see this, they're like, yo, I want to curate the best dabs. I want to curate the best vapes at the best prices.
Yeah,
Nimbus,
I think you're
my pick for the best right now. So what should they buy from you if it's the best?
I think the best that we do is our live resin, to be completely honest. Like, I don't think there's anyone that I wouldn't go toe to toe with live resin, pen to pen. We just put a lot of care into the material that goes into the extractor. We really focus on keeping it like super cold. It does not touch any media whatsoever. It's completely non-CRC'd, and it always comes out absolutely beautifully golden. And we've gotten hate for saying that, it's distillate that you guys and mixing terps back in. No, it's not. It's because we keep everything so cold from the material to the extraction, and then it's post-processed with extreme care and taken really, really slow on the decarbs, that we're like really maintaining that color. So it is true as you can get live resin. And I think it shows. I mean, in the Nican Cup recently, we placed second in the vape category. We were the only one in the top 5 that wasn't a rosin pen. I think that just goes to show.
Oh, wow.
And honestly, in my opinion, I think if we just fibbed it a little bit and said live rosin on the pen, it probably would have won. It's just because of the rosin, the rosin people, the solventless people, they just, whatever. BHO has its bad rap for bad purposes. It is what it is, but I really think
it doesn't have a bad rap, right? It's that it's automatically been determined that because it has a solvent, it's not as good as rosin. They're not the same. They shouldn't even be compared. So that's a whole different conversation. We can debate that another day with the rosin folks. I disagree with all that, but you're not wrong. People do look like live resin is a step below, but I would argue that the fuller spectrum of cannabinoids is actually available in BHO products, right? Because you can scientifically maneuver and chisel that in, depending on what you're doing, Whereas rosin, it's a pretty simple rinse and repeat process, pun intended.
Yeah, and like there's certain strains that wash well.
Whereas BHO, you can do it on all of them.
Pretty much on all of them. And like, for instance, the Blue Piff, we tried to wash it. I think it did like right around 1%. Like, unfortunately, that's not a viable
Commercial
process for that
rosin
strain.
situation.
It's just not like, maybe we'll do a little bit to like put into a competition or do a limited drop on, but it's going to be expensive because it didn't yield well, but it does unbelievably well, in live resin. It's in the high 3s, low 4s%. So it makes sense. Wow. So, it there's just strains you're not going to see in rosin because it makes no sense for the cultivator or the processor to run that. It's a waste of everybody's time. So there's just flavors you're never going to get in a rosin that you're going to get in BHO. And that's why I think there needs to be a place for BHO, because there's just certain terps and strains that are just never going to be a rosin because it doesn't make sense for anybody. So that's why I think, live resin has a place. And I think it's important as an extractor to find those strains that don't wash and focus that in your hydrocarbon line, because that's going to make you and then you have a good solventless program where you can put strains that do wash well and do dump, and then those are the flavors that are more geared into that category.
You guys are at an advantage because you're growing soil to oil indoors, and you can have great product from outdoor grows and in greenhouse, mixed light, supplement, all the things, right? You can have great product from each of those and put that into oil. But it tends to be more potent and arguably more flavorful coming from an indoor grow with the controlled variables and the controlled environment. I'd say with you guys, and again, kind of going back to Jack and Will and the team within the extraction lab and the vape process, even your guys' distillate cartridges, they had a fuller spectrum of cannabinoids. I noticed that even though they're cannabis-derived terps or it's botanical terps or whatever it was, I couldn't help but notice that every time I ripped out of those disposables, the Wicked OG, the Titletown Kush, that I was actually getting high. And it wasn't just one layer of head high. It was the usual full spectrum. And I assume that that's because you have other cannabinoids in those vapes.
And the terp.
It's not just THC.
Well, those two specifically that you mentioned those are cannabis-derived terps that we put there.
So that would make sense why I'm actually getting pretty high.
Yeah, more full effect. We're like the Mass Whole Mango, the Beast Coast Berry, the Your Mother's Limoncello. Like, those are botanically derived terpenes, and that's to go after a certain type of customer, and the cannabis derived after another type of customer, and then the live resin even different, So just trying to have
hardware is great too. That hardware is coming from Active. Is that
from Active? Yeah, and actually, which I'm super hyped on. I wish I don't have one around, but we did a custom unit with them where the cloud is the window. Our cloud is the window, which is sick. And then that first iteration, which is just the pull to activate. And then here in the new year, we got squeaked the order in before Chinese New Year, which was great. So in the new year, it's going to be the same button window or the same window style vape, but with a button on the bottom, because to remove any potential clogging issues, you tap twice to
it's the warm-up setting.
The warm-up setting to unclog it, and then it will have variable voltage, so you can get a little different depending on what you like. And that's something I've been working on with Active for a really, really long time, like over a year now. So it's finally bringing that to life. I'm super excited because it's like, I won't lie, that's probably the one thing is like, we keep our terp cut on our disty stuff like lower than the industry standard because we believe it's a better flavor. It doesn't give you the terp sneeze or that tickle in the back of your nose and throat.
Yeah,
we think it tastes better. That's our opinion. But because of that, because the oil's so thick, sometimes, it clogs up a little bit. So,
and let's be real. Let's clear the myth for everybody here. If it's colder than 65 degrees, it will get clogged. Doesn't matter where or what the oil type is. If it's colder than 65 degrees, it's going to start getting
100%.
more condensed. And I come from Washington. Boston, Mass, we're in a similar little thing, however that works on the lattisphere plot, all those whatever it is. All right, no, I'm being I don't remember the words because again I've been ripping your dabs over here, so that's all gone from me right now. But on some real shit, when I was a bud tender, the biggest when I've worked and consulted and been marketing agency guy for numerous dispensaries, obviously returns with vapes is a big thing. When I sold live resin vapes, when I sell Disty, I sell it now. Leaks are a problem when it's warm out, folks. Do not leave carts or all-in-one disposables or ready-to-use vapes. Do not leave them in your purse. Do not walk around with them if it's in the sun, if it's going to be in a bag. My mom just had a disposable leak upside down in her purse. Her purse was black, and we're walking around in Texas, right? And so her bag is just cooking, right? So this is just simple things. Don't leave it in your car. Basically, in the winter months, don't leave your vapes anywhere where it's cold. If your house gets cold, it's going to be clogged if it gets 65 degrees. It's just science, folks. It's as simple as that. It doesn't even mean that the vape is broken or damaged or nothing. Ice cubes come from water because it gets cold. It's a simple.
100%. I think that's. I'm glad you brought that up, and that's why we're bringing the button in, is to hopefully.
You guys live in an environment where it's freaking cold.
Exactly.
So, I've
been working on that button for a while and super stoked to bring it to market pretty soon.
Yeah, I have one of your vapes right here. Look at this, man. I actually traveled with this one the last couple of weeks. You guys can see it's definitely. I'll rip it right now. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the Wicked OG right there. Here, hold on. I'll grab it. Let me show you. I'll be right back.
Ooh, yes, sir. Yeah, folks, I love the hardware on this, right? The USB-C. I told you guys on the review, I really like that they color code the tips with the bag. So that way it's like, oh yeah, that was this strain. Which one's that one?
That's the new hardware.
Oh, nice.
So the window is our cloud.
Yeah.
Same color. Cool. We put a QR on everything. We want people to reach out to us if they're having an issue. We want to make it right. If you're having a problem, or we want to help you. So this is super important. Scan this. It's going to bring you to, our contact page with our phone number. Call us anytime. We want to help people. We want to make sure they have their, we want to make sure they have the best experience possible. And then, so basically this, but with a button right here below the QR code, is going to be the new unit, which I'm super stoked on. Like I said, been working on it for so long. So
that's sick. Yeah. I didn't doubt that it worked. You guys did it and tested it, obviously, but that's pretty cool that it. I love it. There's a Nimbus helpline.
Call. We're always here to pick up. And if you call after 5 o'clock, who's probably going to answer is me.
Straight to the big boss. Nah, man, that's amazing. Homie to homie, I'm just really proud of what you guys are doing. I was honored to work with you guys and so appreciative to be able to get out there and do what we do. And we appreciate the hospitality. It's been really cool to try the products and see where you guys are at versus where you were a couple years ago. Especially we got there right after you guys, got second place in a couple of those awards. That was super dope to let's see what really went down, and, you guys have been doing great work, and I'm excited to see this next line of products that you guys have in terms of strains. It's going to be super dope to see some of these old school, genetics come back to life. Now, when we were there visiting you, Brian, we went to some retail partners. You had us go visit some people. We went to Haven. We went to a couple different groups. Now, I wanted to give you the opportunity just to show love to a couple of your guys' partners there.
Yeah,
so if we were to, and I'll give you the scenario. That way you don't got to pick and choose. You can just answer to the scenario, right? So I fly into Boston Airport like we always do. You know what I'm saying? From there, where do you recommend that I go real quick?
So I think you guys went you went up to Misty Mountain in Malden, which is not too far from the airport. We've been working with them for quite some time. They're a great shop. They have really great branding in there as well. Yeah. They do a beautiful job, on the display.
That was a dope spot.
Yeah, they do a beautiful job on the display floor. It's also one of the bigger dispensaries around too. There's a lot of space. They were fortunate enough where we've done beautiful display. Actually, Will just made a custom snowboard for them, where we did some custom
Sick.
branding with our line art with them that we just brought over there and hung up on the wall to kind of, go with their mountain type
Yeah, they
feel
got
on
that.
there.
They got that swing in there, and it looks like a ski resort.
Exactly. So like, we want to play our branding on the store's branding. And like, that's why every display we do is not the same. We're not just a cookie cutter display where a sales rep comes in and just puts out, a stand or whatnot. Like Will goes out, measures it, custom designs it, and then custom installs it. It's something we take a lot of pride in, to like really represent our brand and to be cohesive with our partner, where it's going to include their branding along with us. Then I think you guys went down to the Haven Center down on the Cape.
Yep.
They got 2 shops down on the Cape now. We've been working with them since they opened their first one in Provincetown. I think you guys went to the Brewster location.
Yep. And we went to that. I think it was the Collective.
Oh, and Collective up. Did you go to Bill Ricca or Littleton?
The first word.
Bill Ricca.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bill Ricca, we've been working with them since they first opened. They opened a little after us. I mean, that Bill Ricca store is a really high volume store, and we have a really close relationship with them and done a lot of work for them. We make a lot of products for them under their brand name as well through HBP. So I think we just have a lot of respect for what each other do. They're really good at retail, and I think we're really good at making cannabis products. So we've collabed and teamed up to play on each other's strengths, and
amplifying retail. You guys are good at amplifying retail experience. You guys pull up, show out, support with a great product, and I'll go back to that branding and just show love there again too.
100%.
It looks good. Your guys' displays and the way you guys present yourself in this retail experience, it's very solid.
So yeah, we just try to be collaborative partners, and we try to do everything we can to help the retailer. We do everything we can to display our brands together under a unified voice. It's something that we really work hard at, and we encourage all of our retail partners to reach out to us to, if they have an idea from a marketing perspective, we're all ears. We want to try new things, test out new ideas,
Right.
Try to get the word out there. So like, I encourage all of our retail partners, like, shoot any idea you have at us. Like, we have our crazy, even if you think it's the craziest idea, I guarantee you we've had a crazier one. So it's like, let's find a way to make it happen, make it work. And like, that's what's going to, separate everybody in the future, is like, who's building these unique experiences, unique brand stories, and working together. We don't have retail, so we need the retail outlets to get our brand out there.
Yeah.
We got to work together to bring our stories to life. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love our retail partners, and we appreciate you guys giving a spotlight to those 3. They're big partners of ours, and we were happy to have you guys go out there, and they were stoked to have you, and we're looking forward to see the content. Hopefully,
we got that. We got a lot of videos coming soon, man. We working through our button. I'm getting hit today with a couple examples, so I'm excited. We'll obviously keep you updated on that as it comes. Now, before I get out of here, I wanted to show love to our sponsor again. I didn't do it at 25. I missed that because we were over here taking dabs. I'm over here taking dabs. Everybody watching, our sponsor is Seedless Media. Be sure to tap in. Any retailers out there watching, you guys, if you need any marketing, they are our go-to retail marketing partner. Loyalty, text messages, SMS, MMS, email, advertising, programmatic, you name it, they do it. We also support and help with that as well. Brian, you just mentioned again, really supporting the retailers and the type of partners that you guys are. How can retailers that might be interested in working with you guys, what's the best way for them to reach out and get a hold of you guys?
Yeah, definitely reach out to me. You can reach out to me at brian.adams@hbprocessing.com. You can also reach out to Justin, our Chief Revenue Officer, at justin@hbprocessing.com. And you can reach out to Brett, who's our Director of Retail Wholesale, at Brett@HB Processing. Any 3 of us are more than happy to help you guys.
Yep.
We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear ways we can be collaborative. We want to, find ways that we can drive traffic to your store in unique ways. So, please reach out, and let's find a way to make this a more fruitful industry for everybody.
I think as somebody that, as a consumer looking in, as someone that is, a tourist that visits these places and goes and like, what's the best dabs? What's the best vape? Tell me about the terps. Like, what kind of flower you got? What are the highest terps? Like, your brand would naturally get displayed if you carried it, right? And so I have to alley-oop you here by saying, like, for any of the retailers that are watching in Massachusetts, this is the great opportunity to bring on a brand that is a powerhouse, that has great premium products, that's good enough for somebody that's from a legacy market in Washington State, that is a former bud tender. The product is good enough for somebody like me who's from California, who goes and spends money, the premium dollars in these other markets. And when it comes to the experience side, we did just go to these stores that he's visiting, and there wasn't one location where it was like, people didn't love Nimbus. They were excited. They was getting sold right where we were there. The displays when available, or I'm sorry, when able to be customized, Nimbus really stepped up and showed out and made custom things in a big way. And I think it amplifies that local culture. If you are proud to be from Massachusetts, you would be proud to carry Nimbus at the end of the day. And I think that's something that, I said this when I first met y'all. Man, if I lived out here, if I was from out here, I would know y'all. I'd be rocking with y'all. I probably would have bugged you to try to work with y'all and sell that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really rock with it. And so, Brian, I appreciate you being here with us today. Now, before we get out of here, let me double check the questions and so we don't skip any of that good, juicy stuff. I know I had one more that I wanted to get off of my chest. Two more things, and they go hand in hand. Talk to me a little bit about your guys' company culture, how you lead innovation with your team, and then touch base on just your goals and visions for the rest of the year and 2020.
Yeah, so I think we're really fortunate. We've had a lot of, really great people that have worked with us and been a great addition to our team. Our turnover rate is extremely, extremely low. And, we really just look for honest feedback from all of our staff. And, at the end of the day, we want to give our staff the tools they need to be successful. And, it's always an open door policy. We'll come in and invest in a pre-roll machine, say, but Beth, our lead, that she rocks that machine like nobody's business. It's like, we just give her the tools she needs to succeed. And then she comes to us, and then we work together to troubleshoot and find ways to be better, to be more efficient, to make a better product. We all work together. And I think that creates like a unique environment of inclusivity, and that everybody has a voice here because, at the end of the day, everybody's doing the work every single day. Right. Oftentimes I'm out on the road or sitting, talking to you, Joey, or, hammering on phone calls and running emails. As much as I love being out on the production floor. I wish I could be out there more, but the nature of where we are as a business, unfortunately, my time has to be taken elsewhere. So I rely on our staff to come to me, and they're amazing of coming to me and telling me what's going on, what's the problem, so where to see ways of improvement. And I think that's one thing that we really foster in our culture is how can we produce the best products and how can we do it better and more efficiently? And everybody has that mindset. And I love hearing when our staff comes to us and says, hey, I got this crazy idea. This is my thoughts, XYZ. This is what I'd like to do. And I'm like, okay, what's it going to cost? Okay, it's X dollars or Y dollars. And they're like, okay, we can make that work. Let's do it. And, I would say 95% of the time when those ideas come to us, we do it. And also 95% of the time, those ideas work. And I think
I think she was a part of the decision to utilize that Canatrol machine for the moisture level within your ground up flower material. Which machine is it? A Roll Pros or a pre-roller?
Yeah, Roll Pros. So we have the Roll Pros. So the Roll Pros likes really, really moist product. And so we have the mini cold cure Canatrol units that are like the at home. We're designed for home growers. But what we found is we load it up with the bud, night before. We set it to the levels that we found work best for the machine. It reconstitutes it to a perfect level. And then she comes out, literally grinds it and puts it right in the machine. And pretty much every strain rolls like butter because we've dialed in those parameters. And that was something that, we worked together on to achieve. And it's just stuff like that, thinking outside the box, being different. Pretty much everybody that worked here didn't come from cannabis. We all learned together, and I think that gives us a unique level of different perception where we're not just stuck in our ways of I got to extract this way, I got to roll joints this way, I gotta do this that way, I got to grow it this way. We all think outside the box, and we encourage that type of thinking, to think
some of that legacy. I'm not using legacy in terms of an umbrella for everybody else, but some of those legacy habits definitely come into play and are a little risky in the commercial side of things if that bias stays a true bias.
100%. So
It can be tough.
that's our culture, is just trying to always be better and everybody come in. And then, we're a tight knit crew at the end of the day. Like, everybody has a voice and everybody's involved, and we try to be as inclusive to everybody as possible and try to take those ideas and bring our company to the next level. And everyone's really invested into what we're doing because of it.
And now you're expanding. We were just sharing the little story about your cured resin and the dabs and the beard bros and this party we were at, and we were in New Jersey. And so I don't know if that's a RMR exclusive or not, but what's going on with you in expansion?
Yeah, it's Jersey's the new state for us. So we're a big MSO now. But no, Jersey's rocking and rolling. I'm actually going down tomorrow and Friday to kind of pretty much finish up installing the extractor. So we partnered with a great group of North Lake Supply down in northern New Jersey. They have a 40,000 square foot greenhouse. We came in, helped build out the lab, spec out the lab. Basically everything we would have done differently with what we've learned over the years, we put into that. So they're going to have an unbelievable program, pumping out same level of quality that we have at, some pretty
greenhouse input prices.
A greenhouse input price at unbelievable efficiency, and it's something we're super, super stoked about. And I would encourage anybody listening, if you're in a newer market, and you are really passionate about cannabis and you really care about putting out good quality cannabis products, and you're getting your hands on a license or have big plans for it, please reach out to me. That's the type of people we're looking forward to partner with, to come in and teach you everything we've learned. That, all the mistakes we've made a lot of mistakes along the way. And that's what's gotten us to where we are. We learned from those mistakes and moved on and became better. And so we're trying to help our partners not make those same mistakes and come right out of the gate with top tier products, top tier quality, and bringing Nimbus to new markets. And we're here to support and elevate our partners, not just come in and run the show or any of that. We're here to teach and to learn and to develop together and bring really good products to the market and show people that, a little company in Massachusetts can put a big pack, punch a big punch on a national level. So, we're hoping to be, we'll be in Jersey beginning of this year. Should be on shelf January, February at the absolute latest.
Wow.
Pending we don't have any big major speed bumps with inspections, but more or less we'll be ready to produce starting next week. It's just got to get through the inspections, and then
let's go.
Yeah.
Nimbus literally going to the moon, flying the Nimbus cloud all the way there, man. Let's go, man. I love it.
And other states, we're just kind of looking in and feeling around. I think New York is starting to finally come around, so that's on the horizon. Maryland kind of opening up some more licenses is an interesting opportunity.
What you're saying is that your guys' dabs, concentrates, and potentially flower cultivation capabilities could be expanded via partnerships into these other markets. So if anybody is interested in concentrates that range between 5 and 20% in their products, this would be a good person to reach out to.
100%. So we welcome anybody, and we'd love to talk and hear what you got going on. And that's our big plans, is just kind of taking the brand elsewhere. In the state of Massachusetts too, we're really just focusing on a lot of contract manufacturing, white labeling. We want to bring other brands to the market. We want to work with our retailers to bring their own brand to life and products. We have, pretty large level of capacity and opening up new capacity with new projects we've been working on. So we're just trying to build on that. So people that want to come into Massachusetts,
packaging, pre-rolls, flour, vapes, labeling, vapes, you guys can help. You have the hardware, they can send you the packaging. You guys have the ability to utilize your co-packing space. It's a pretty big space to do that for people, and you already are doing it for people.
100%. Yeah. So we want to build on that too. We found a lot of success in it, and we want to continue to grow that. So
amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're working on the next, in 2025. And
let's go.
We're excited to see what this crazy industry brings us in the new year. It's a wild industry. It's a lot of fun. Things move very rapidly and change every which direction, but that's what keeps life interesting, and that's what keeps me coming in the door every day. So we're excited to see what new opportunities are out there.
I appreciate your time very much today, Brian. As always, it's just great to be here and to talk cannabis with you and to talk a little business and learn as well. Congratulations on the expansion. It's very exciting, and hats off, my friend, to the quality of the product. I'm sitting here, everybody. We got the actual Nimbus vapes, as you guys can see. The AVD, aka active hardware, right here, USB-C. This particular one, the Wicked OG with cannabis-derived terps. They got the Mass Whole Mango. They got the what is it? The Beast Coast Berry,
East
right?
Coast Berry, yep. Your
And what
mother's
was the, and then
limoncello
that's
is a new
my
one.
yeah, that, and then the lemon one, man. That one right there, the limoncello. That, like, you guys are very creative. The packaging, the co-packing opportunities, there's a lot. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. Brian's available. Brian Adams on LinkedIn. You can literally type in Brian Hudson Botanical Processing and it comes up on LinkedIn, or just Brian Adams Hudson Botanical. All that works. I tested it to find him this morning. And then, of course, everybody, I appreciate y'all. This officially was the 119th episode of the RMR Podcast. Over 2 years of content and interviews, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Again, big shout out to our sponsor, Seedless Media. On your URLs, if you are in need of marketing, please type in seedless.media. They are happy to help you grow, happy to help brands do programmatic and ads, run ads about specific products in areas on sites and apps where people are hanging out and they're on it. So be sure to tap in if you need it. I love you guys. Brian, do you have anything you'd like to leave the people with before we get you out of here?
I'd just like to say, Joey, I appreciate you for what all you do. You guys have been like really putting a spotlight on the community, like the people that really give a fuck about cannabis and like really want to like see good quality products on the shelves and out in the market. So all I got to say is keep that up, keep putting spotlights on the people that really do care. I think it goes a long way. Like we want this industry in the long run to be a community that's around good quality products that we can all get behind. And you guys have done an amazing job of highlighting all those hardworking people. So hats off to you guys for doing that and keep it up. And we look forward to keep working with you guys on that initiative. It's super, super important. There's a lot of really great craft producers out there that just don't often get the spotlight that really deserve it. And you guys have been doing a good job of highlighting them. So keep up the good work. I appreciate it. I thank you for having me on and hopefully do this again sometime soon.
Come on, man. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to have to bring you on again soon because, I was thinking about this episode here just now. And in my head, I'm like, I titled this episode talking about the best cannabis concentrates in Massachusetts. And I thought to myself, I genuinely am struggling to find and think about who else I would put in that category. And so, although we didn't talk about other people that would qualify in that, sitting here right now, I was struggling to think about who those other ones would be. Right. And so I think that resonates with me in this way. You guys are, as of right now, are putting out what I would consider the best cannabis concentrates there in Mass. And anybody else that watches this video that's got a problem with that, I challenge you to reach out, put yourself on the radar in a bigger way, because people in Massachusetts put me on to Hudson Botanical. People from in Massachusetts their whole life introduced us and made sure that Brian, his family, their team, the whole nine got familiar with our team, and thus we made the effort to go out to there. And it's that local recommendation is the only reason why I was familiar with y'all in the first place. And after trying numerous products, why I'm confident in saying that this is some of the best concentrates in the country. So,
hell yeah. Well, I appreciate that.
You said cart for cart, right? Cart for cart with anybody. Nimbus, the challenge is out there. I'm looking for it. I found some rosin in Michigan that comes close. I found some live resin in Missouri that I got to think about. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
So we'll see. And I'm still on the hunt for California right now. So any brands that want to see if you guys got the best products in North America, reach out. Joey, I respectmyregion.com, 206-488-3838. Hit me direct if you think you got the best product. Brian, thank you again for being here. Big shout out to our sponsor, Seedless Media. Everybody, we'll catch you on the next episode. I love y'all.
See you, Joey.
Love y'all. Peace.